Wednesday, a review of Season 1, 2022. Let's discuss Wednesday. I'll talk about the most recent season of The Addams Family on Netflix, which centers on Wednesday's child and is, by all accounts, full of war. Serious spoilers ahead. You, as far as I know, are a bit of Addams Family fan as I am, so when I realized this was inevitable, especially in light of the circumstances, I was rather excited. Whom do I put my personal trust in this Wednesday? Is the Addams Family member I find most endearing. It also included family, however in a rather updated manner. The other side of that is that I thought it was incredibly odd that these folks pretended to be a modern version and made references to social media or utilized it in a foolish way as if they knew the lingo. There were a few, to be sure. Strangely enough, Wednesday can comprehend mansplaining. I can't say the same for social media, for example. Her remark to him was well received by me. She queries, "Did you really?" But I gave it some thought from the start. Just mansplain, my own powers to me. You are aware that you have a brother, strong. She sees what transpired in her visions while being imprisoned in a locker. She observes him being crammed within as a result. She is bullied by several people, so she goes and throws some piranhas into the pool as payback. Have a pool ready to go? It's bad because it's Tim Burton's CGI. That much is true, it was dreadful beyond belief. In the intro, I was really waiting for that iconic Addams Family theme that was referenced throughout. Chamber of Secrets, which was cool, and I think there's a scene where Wednesday is similar to talking to Tyler's love interest, where the reference is the cookie and the spook, which were quite nice. To be sure, there were actually quite a few of those. Addams Family's customary theme was missing, thus. Danny Elfman, who over the years developed a cult following and created the soundtracks for Tim Burton movies, is still present. Random tracks were combined with them in some way. You have Typo Negative's Black Number 1 Die in there, which was actually taken from The Addams Family and is why it is in there. At first, it sounds like the Rolling Stones' Black Painted Wall, but later, when she is playing the cello on the balcony, it sounds like that. There is a Metallica, too, I think. I enjoyed that he was choosing authentic songs that had a lyrical link to Wednesday. Later in the song, Nothing Else Matters is woven in, so I guess that's why. In fact, the audio was excellent. Not too long ago, I noticed myself becoming sucked into the right thing. Although there is music in it, I still prefer more traditional music. It might not be, but it is. It's good that they at least included a few Easter eggs for the Addams Family. Speaking of the Addams Family, they do make an appearance, but they're quite brief and only last for a few minutes. This is very much a Wednesday-led series. There are a ton of supporting characters who, in my opinion, don't participate too much. On Wednesday, Jenna Ortega is fantastic. She appreciates Wednesday because it is a woman's day. Gauntness without expression, almost like someone who is dead but still alive. Kind vibe, and I think Jenna Ortega does a lot of acting with her eyes. She does a good job of expressing her emotions by the way she uses her brows and her eyes. She does, in my opinion, write quite well. Who do you think has a lengthy relationship with the Addams Family? A weird character surrounded by a ton of other weird characters, and the focus is on the weirdness of the family. And everyone else is normal. However, if you take one of them and put them in a school with other weirdos, I believe they lose that. They give off a peculiar and unsettling vibe. Merely evolving into this softer version. Even though she begins somewhat differently, that is comparable to everyone else's. They continued the series even though they were already aware that she was the only one wearing a little altered outfit and acting somewhat oddly. Remove that, and she instantly merges with one. On Wednesday, I had the vague impression that everyone else had fallen short because of me or what I represented. Many people do in fact view the series as doesn't the whole area have that type of vibe? This is merely the nice version of a high school romance character. Drop-like in comparison, but darker. It has elements of a high school drama and a murder mystery, albeit I think the murder mystery portion occasionally lacks a little disorientation. With all of this going on, a monster is loose, and it's predicted that a girl that resembles Wednesday will destroy Nevermore. There are numerous various types of things going on, some of which are not good. I think by the end I was more focused. All the strands, albeit not usually, of the series are connected in some way. So, where are we going? Is comparable. I don't think that takes away from this. Considering that this series was actually fairly fantastic, I would choose the middle because I found it to be the most interesting. I think the first episode is a great way to get you interested in the show. Let's begin. This is the method we're using. On Netflix, Addams Family is now in the year 2022. If you go with that, episodes 4 and 5 show it sort of fading away indoors. You are, in my opinion, aware of the overall rhythm. Everything you see in shows like these has been seen before, but with a slight horror-style setting. I'll tell you, absolutely. Most noticeably, I admire the way they've been able to manufacture things, and this is you know what that item has always done to exhibit emotion. You know what it is, was what I enjoyed about it. Yes, it's peculiar, doesn't it? I adore being able to convey ideas solely through gestures. Yes, that is awesome. I'll tell you what was in there, but there was something there. There wasn't a character about whom I was disappointed. It was Lurch, and it was heavily displayed. Yes, he just appears in a few scenes. He doesn't resemble the youngster I remember at all, and he's just cruising about in the family car. In contrast to this time, when he appears almost semi-normal and lacks any hint of a spooky or scary appearance, Lurch almost completely resembles a zombie, and I truly appreciate that. He simply has the appearance of a tall, thin guy who is simply driving I'd want to see more Lurch. How did you discover this had festered? Okay, Festa had let him down. And he only needed the power to do so. I have to say that I now fear lightning. Do you consider that to be retro? In a homage to the original Addams Family's party trick of inserting a light bulb that illuminates and makes noises in his mouth, he supposedly possessed electricity, as they used to say. It feels like an old Addams Family tradition is currently coursing through his veins, yet it would be okay if he simply turned up. It's unclear why he suddenly changed into Raiden. When things are like stabbings into the wall and he uses his hands to try to revive them, it's weird but rather skillfully portrayed. Yes, he has defibrillators on his fingertips, and he only needed the power to do so. I have to admit it was great, but the explanation isn't really there, is it? Imagine how much he's worth in the current housing market given the cost of living crisis. Oh, this man has electricity, very bizarre. Yes, you could power Russia. When I say power, I'm referring to the nation. More information about the whole issue, I assume, wasn't it more of a mystery-type plot? Wednesday, she has also had visions of the past. Premonitions are not the only kinds of visions that a person can have. She has a dream in which Goody Addams, the person who did the sorting, is her ancestor. That's all connected to the probable destruction of Nevermore, and Gomez is accused of murder in contrast to Lee Garrett, yes, which is analogous to being hunted by witch hunters. Gomez was younger at the time. Perhaps I was thinking, I misread, in which case you would respond, like you. Everything in Morticia has great significance, even though it won't be around much longer. How is the television show doing? Even while knowing it will be a series gives it more depth. Think about it. What kind of episodic series would you like to watch? Nevertheless, there was, undoubtedly, one section of the story that captured my attention more than others, and they have little to do with one another. They both don't feel at ease being together. They possessed a lot of stuff and were connected. Continuing, I believe they did that frequently in the beginning before declining. And the midsection didn't include much meat. Anyway, I do enjoy the items, particularly the ice. There is a party going on where Wednesday is totally awesome. Enid's roommate gets tricked into believing she is a werewolf but can only partially transform, so she can only use her claws. There are a variety of monsters there that I adore. Yes, we were aware that would happen eventually. The hide, oh yeah, there's another thing where it's like there's a mysterious person who is also a monster when she squares off, though. Who will it be, and will it be the guy? What are we talking about, this man over there with the ponytail? Undoubtedly, it is him. Will it be her crush, or someone else? It was hard to enjoy Red Herring. They tried to present it as Brienne was tough, and then, it was Xavier. They had sown a few seeds into the fabric. Oh, I don't think so, I think they were constant throughout. Thornhill, instructor, that's all there is to it, so yeah, Christina Ricci is also present, and she did a great job with her role. They led you in a lot of different areas, and I believe they did a good job of foreshadowing him. So, there was this tiny instance. When they go on a date and see Legally Blonde and Tyler, yeah, cryptically, but Wednesday is sporting a checkered flag, which is back a witchfinder who was seeking for Addams' storyline thread similar to that from back here, and he believes the series concluded fairly. He was quickly and weakly stabbed, and that was it, he died. Even though I really like it, it's a little anticlimactic, and it's such a stupid song. Event takes place after his death. The teacher is ambushed by a swarm of bees, but she makes the decision to shoot at them. She does indeed start firing at the beach. You'll perform Eugene's bees, in my opinion. I actually like it. I did locate it. This series was monotonous in the middle, but I still really liked it. I might be able to see it again. In certain parts, it felt really familiar, and I did think, oh well. You realize that's really Hogwarts-like? It was an extremely exciting boat race when there were either the Triwizard Carp or the Gryffindor sword at the very end. Similar to a few occasions when I thought, this feels too familiar, and perhaps they could take that action. If we want to start out strong, we might play it a little more conventionally than we'd like in order to put viewers in a comfortable place because, Season 1 concludes in a way where they're pushing for more seasons. Almost, but then we'll start experimenting a little bit as the show goes on. More now that we have an audience, but I believe I should talk more about this. I guess we'll just have to wait and see where they go with it. Yeah, we will, even though, like in general, I believe we have discussed a couple of topics that we weren't expecting to. I continue to like the generally love the performance from I Agree, but there are a few words from beginning to end that drag. Please share your opinions on Wednesday Buys Gold. The gang from Season 1 in the comments area below.